because Drake is here in the building, we'll give him first right of refusal. Gary, whenever you're ready.
Well, a fantastic point for us in a very difficult environment. Team that's been exceptionally purposeful and positive here. I believe their last 4 games, 4 wins at home, 12, 13 goals. I've been told. So delighted to take a point away from this difficult away fixture. I'm just as happy and pleased about the way that the group went about their business. There were some things we looked at and worked on in the period we've had off. And it's always difficult once you've had that spell of downtime, 2 weeks without a game after having had so many games in a short period of time. You can sometimes find that the players don't quite get into their gear quick enough. That cannot be said about the group tonight. The only disappointment was that we were unable to carve out many clear opportunities. And, when you look at the type of competition in front of us, as I say, the point was terrific. And I'm just looking for the icing on the cake now.
Thank you, Gary. We'll start with Drake Hilson, the Tennessee end. Go ahead, Drake. Drake?
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there. I'm here.
Go ahead, Drake.
All right. Good evening, Gary. 2-part question for you. What do you think of the back line tonight? Obviously, Joe Willis had an incredible game once again. What did you think of the back line tonight, considering the fact that in recent times there's been some struggles with aerial defense and trying to get stuff out of the box? But tonight there was a lot of, whether there were crosses or obviously some shots as well. How did you think that collectively they defended tonight? And then the second part was, I think you alluded to it earlier, just the fact that there were some times they weren't able to create some of the chances. How come?
First and foremost, the back line, was without two starting fullbacks, wingbacks, in Lovitz and Johnston. The fact that Walker has had a tough period away on international duty, I think, speaks volumes to his character and capabilities. In general, I thought they did a very, very good job. The challenge was always to try and keep a very energetic and forceful team at bay. Maybe ask them some questions that have not been asked for a little while, and not allow them to do a lot of things that they like doing. I guess that's every game, but it's not always easy to put that plan into practice. The guys did a fabulous job. And as far as set pieces and aerial difficulties, I think there was one second phase situation that in the end, Joe makes a fabulous save. But I thought for the vast majority, we looked in control, capable, and very difficult to play against. As far as the other end of the field, I thought we made some good choices in the middle third to manage particular moments. Were we able or capable of getting beyond their back line and being a little bit more aggressive? Not as much as maybe we would have liked. That could have been due to, the lack of guys like Randall Leal in the group who had a different dimension. And maybe the likes of Godoy, who are very capable of breaking lines quickly and maybe seeing a more positive pass. So we're without 4 starters today. And that's not saying that the guys that came in didn't do a good job, because they did. But those guys that were not in the group possess some qualities that when we're at full strength, I think you can see the slight difference and the slight changes in the dynamic of the way we play. Tonight, it was vitally important we got something out of the game. I'd love to have won it. I'd love to have created more chances. But the fact was, the game, as it presented itself, was one that was going to be very, very competitive. And we were certainly that.
Drake, you want one more?
Yeah, I was just curious about the dynamic of DC and how they attacked tonight. Did you see much of a difference, based off of film with Paul and some of the other guys in there versus tonight?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of footage of this group. We've obviously played against them. They created and gave us some problems at home that not many teams have, and it was due to their forceful nature, their repressing, their energy to get high up the field and restrict. And tonight, I thought we did a very, very good job, A, of playing around that pressure when we needed to, and B, when they were in possession, not allowing them to secure the ball or to combine in areas higher up the field in the final third, and play at a pace that a lot of teams can't handle. They've been as aggressive and as successful here in goals scored and points as we have in recent times at home at our place. 13 goals here in the last 4 home games tells you that they have put teams to the sword. So it was never ever going to be an easy game. And throw into the mix that we've got playoff connotations on the line, all of us. So there was always going to be a little bit of a different edge and feel to it. And tonight there was a passion and a competitiveness that any playoff game would have maybe featured.
We'll transition now to Tim Sullivan and Ben Wright. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Gary, you alluded a couple times in there to how important this point was for you guys. As you look at the table, especially during this stretch run of the season and see how it's kind of getting tighter at the top, how do you balance that need to get results versus the need to play for a win, maybe even on the road?
Well, listen, we've got a tally in mind. We've got a focus on certain games and certain situations. Tonight it was important after a break that we didn't get beat. It would have been great, as I've said, to have won, but I'm happy with the performance and the platform we have, and given some of the omissions, it's been a very good away trip for us. But we need to focus on us. We've worked incredibly hard to get ourselves in a good position in the table, and to maintain that position or one of strength going into what we hope is going to be a post-season and a successful one, will mean that we need to add a particular amount of points to the board. That's irrelevant to who we play or where we play. We need a particular amount of points, and there'll be certain situations that I'll appreciate that, and so will the players. And there might be a slightly different look to that. What we know is we have the champions coming to our home ground on Wednesday, but at home we've been bright, we've been purposeful, we've been difficult to play against. And with a good home crowd, they give us an energy and a shot in the arm that all home teams need. And maybe there'll be a different look to the team. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2 different players. Maybe I'll play with 3 forwards. I'm not sure yet. But what I do know is we have a target, and we're working towards that target. And that point today was another step closer.
We'll now go to Ben Wright, and then we'll wrap up tonight's session with Coach with Drake Hills. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, I believe this is just the second start of the year for Luke Hawkinson. Can you just talk about what went into his selection leading up to the game, and then what you thought of his performance?
Yeah, it's his first full debut, if I'm not mistaken, or his full debut. You can only get one, of course. Luke has been absolutely terrific throughout the season. Most of his work obviously has been in a training environment, but what he's been able to do is show the sort of qualities that I felt we might have needed tonight. He's more than capable of getting into aggressive areas. He's very capable 1v1, and he's got a good eye for goal when he can get into that position. Tonight's game didn't allow him to. In his full debut, he found life a little bit tougher going. He had a role to fulfill defensively as well. And Luke's going to be an exceptionally good player for this club. And this was another step towards what we all hope will be a fantastic career for him. But he's nudged out Alex, he's nudged out 1 or 2 others purely because of the energy and the positivity that he's shown over a period of time. And he wasn't able to change the game for us, but I thought it was a very solid hour that we got out of them.
Go ahead, Drake.
Yeah, Gary, I was just curious to clarify something that you said going into this match about being in position to clinch a spot. Were you talking about this game, over whatever result, going into next week, having the opportunity to clinch? And then the second part is with obviously Wednesday and Saturday looking forward, your World Cup qualifier guys, how do you feel about their return and getting their legs back under them?
When you look at the output of Johnson, Godoy, and Randall picked up a little knock. There's nothing too serious, but was unable to travel on when are we? Yesterday. Those guys are going to be fit and available. They give us a bit of a lift, and the type of experience in there that are going to make a difference. As far as points go, as far as adding to the table, today was all about getting back into a groove. It was about making sure that away from home, the guys can tick a box and they can say, you know what, when we run into this problem again, we're going to continue to have the confidence to go away from home and know how we're going to get a result, and know how we're going to move forward, and know what those challenges are going to be and how we're going to go about that. They've ticked that box today. Again, clean sheet, point. What is vitally important as we go into the final 5 games in a hugely tight league is that there are going to be situations where teams falter and it doesn't go according to plan. And I would fully expect in the next 5 games that we see some results that will make us, shudder and say, how did that happen? But it does, because there's pressure and there's difficulties that these players have to deal with. Today, we've gone about our business in a very professional way and we've got a job done, and that was much needed.
Thank you, Gary. We'll be right back. All righty, guys, welcome back. We have Nashville SC defender Jack Maher. We'll start with Drake. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the hand raise function within the chat. Go ahead, Drake.
Yeah, Jack, I asked Gary about how you, Walker, and Dave handled, and really Taylor and Eric as well, handled a lot of that aerial service that you guys had to deal with, especially early on. How did you think you guys defended as a unit, and how did you think you were able to stop Robertha and Kamara in some of those battles?
Yeah, I thought we did really well. I think that just understanding we had a really good game plan going into it. One of the things that we wanted to do was just have guys, me, Walker, Dave, very central, very compact, and we would give them wide spaces. But whenever it came into the box, we were really good and really clinical.
Drake, do you want another one?
I'm good, Matt. Thanks.
Cool. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Jack, obviously you've played alongside a number of different guys in a couple different positions on the back line. What is it like when you kind of have to shuffle? Obviously, Ali not ready, coming back from international duty, playing next to Eric. Obviously, Walker's kind of a stalwart in the middle there. But what is it like kind of having to prepare to play with different guys surrounding you on the back line?
Yeah, I think I've talked on this for a little while now, but our team is just so deep. And we have guys across the board from number 1 to number 30 that can come in and do the job whenever they're called upon. And so just being able to know that you have the confidence and whoever comes in and ends up starting, I think just goes a long way, not only for me, but the rest of the guys.
Do we have any more questions for Jack? Go ahead, Drake, then we'll go to Tim.
Yeah, I just wondered, Jack, I mean, with this atmosphere, did it feel closer to what you might expect come playoff time, just given the fact where DC is in the table and they've been in pretty good run of form as well? How did you feel about the atmosphere and being able to stay calm in that?
Yeah, it was electric. I think that I forgot who I was talking to, but I said right after the game, this place was packing. And I thought that going forward, we're going to have crowds like this for honestly the rest of the playoff run and playoff push that we have going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. I know the rest of the guys are, and we just seem to keep getting good results regardless of who's in the crowd and whether home or away.
We'll wrap up tonight's session with Tim Sullivan. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Jack, obviously a real quick turnaround with Columbus coming to town on Wednesday. What are you looking forward to when you guys take on the Crew?
Yeah, they got a really good team, and I think we're going to really have to be ready for all the guys they have, whether it's Snagby, Zardes, Aran. All these guys are just really, really good players, and they're going to be a tall task for us, but I think we're going to be ready.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jack. We will see you guys all on Wednesday night. Take care.